Hello everybody, welcome to Selected Chapters YouTube channel, and today's selected chapter is addressing 50 milestones for artificial superintelligence, which is a list of 50 items. When we achieve these items on the list, then we can say that artificial superintelligence has emerged, let's say. And this is something done by, Dr. Alan Thompson, who says that we are at 94% of artificial general intelligence, and currently at 0 out of 50 milestones for artificial superintelligence. I'm not sure that all 50 items must be achieved in order to say that we have artificial superintelligence, but it doesn't matter, because I will give my critique on these 50 items, which is not to say that Dr. Alan Thompson is not a smart man. It's just that for me, these 50 milestones have some issues, let's say. So I was inspired to record this video because I watched Wes Roth video on this topic titled AI Researcher Shocking Singularity in 2025 Prediction, which is, of course, it must be shocking and terrifying and so on, because this is how algorithm works. So today I'm going to talk about artificial general intelligence and artificial superintelligence in the context of this list of 50 items. So this is important. And first of all, this is very important to understand. First of all, it is important to recognize and accept that we do not have proper and commonly accepted definition of what intelligence is. So this is important. We do not agree on what intelligence is, and by extension, we do not have the same definitions that we agree and use when we talk about artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence, artificial superintelligence, and so on. Also, when we talk about AI alignment, we do not have the same definition, which is a separate matter and a very disturbing one, because when I see who is dealing with this topic, I'm not very hopeful that this is going to be addressed properly, because, just briefly, if you have all engineers trying to solve ethical dilemma, then you know that this is not a good or not the best approach. There should be teams consisting that have multiple roles, people that have multiple backgrounds, like philosophers and so on and so on. Of course, this is not new. I'm not discovering anything new here, but just saying. Okay, so there is no way that we are going to properly address challenges of artificial intelligence integration in human civilization, whatever that means, if we do not agree on the definitions. So this is a very important step, which we are skipping all the time. This is my experience, and when I'm looking at what is happening in the past few years, I'm regularly watching YouTube videos on this topic, following all the important people on the planet that are dealing with artificial intelligence. For me, sometimes it looks like blind leading the blind, where, well, maybe into the abyss of the future, but who knows. I'm hoping that this is not going to be the case, but somehow it's a little bit disturbing when I see what is actually happening and what is the level of discussion about these topics. Okay, so I will try to give my contribution. Maybe it's not going to be anything revolutionary, but hear me out. Okay, so Dr. Alan Thompson gave a list of 50 items that is available online. I will give a link in the description, and also I will give the link to the video from Wes Roth that I watched as a basis for this video. And there is 50 items that are, I'm not sure what was the logic behind the list, but when I analyzed the list, most of the items have nothing to do, in my opinion, with artificial superintelligence. And I will give you only one important thing why. Because many of these things depends purely on human will, or if we humans are going to achieve something with using artificial intelligence. And also there are some items that are, let's say, self-defeating or contradictory, or hindrance to accepting that artificial superintelligence emerged, like, for example, discovering propulsion that is faster than speed of light. But if this is impossible in principle, in this reality, for example, it's not possible to go faster than light, which is something that we do not know. So that's why we cannot use it as a criteria, because we do not know if this is possible. So we cannot say that this is going to be criteria. Okay, this is important distinction and important to understand. If something is not possible in this reality, then this cannot be achieved by even by superintelligence. If it's not possible, by definition, it's not achievable. So this is what I'm trying to say. So we cannot use criteria such as this. So my key complaints, let's say, or critique for this 50 list summary, besides the one I already mentioned, is that it is very anthropocentric list. All the criteria, more or less, are anthropocentric. So this list is based more or less on human expectations and achievements, let's say. So it measures what people can imagine. So all the components, all the elements on the list are what we can imagine, which is already a problem, because artificial superintelligence is going to maybe think completely different, and it will come to completely unexpected conclusions and discover completely unexpected things that we cannot even conceive today. So that's why I'm saying that it's very anthropocentric. And it's not necessarily tied to what artificial superintelligence is or can become. So I don't see this list as adequate to define, or actually not define, but to point to the direction of artificial superintelligence. Yeah, it looks good superficially. There are some elements that are, I would agree, good approach, but most of the items are not adequate. Also, it's mixing social and technical indicators. Many points depend on human will or political decision. For example, when artificial intelligence governs completely some of the regions in the country or in the world, whatever. But this is dependent not on artificial superintelligence, but on the political will of humans if they are going to allow this. So this is important. So it cannot be a criteria for artificial superintelligence. So this is like, okay, if we decide that artificial superintelligence emerged, then it emerged. No, it cannot be the criteria. So these type of criteria are not adequate. Also, incompatibility with real artificial superintelligence capabilities, like for example, criteria includes travel faster than speed of light, which is perhaps impossible, and that fact alone will eliminate our, let's say, acceptance of artificial superintelligence. But this cannot affect if the artificial superintelligence emerged or not, because we use some arbitrary criteria of faster than speed of light travel. Maybe it's not possible, so that's why it cannot be included. Also, wrong concept of autonomy, for example. Artificial superintelligence must not be recognized by what works for us human, but we should look at the artificial superintelligence in a way how it does certain things, how it behaves, how it thinks, let's say, although we are not going to be able to understand how it's thinking. But if we see that it's completely opaque to us humans, we do not understand it, but somehow it gets results. It does things better, and it does things that we didn't even thought it was possible. And even better, criteria should point in the direction of if artificial intelligence come up with conclusions that contradict our accepted knowledge, this is crucial, then this is definitely a sign of superior intelligence, because it's thinking or perceiving reality or understanding reality completely different than us humans, because we thought that something is impossible, and actually we proved it's impossible, maybe something in mathematics and whatever, and then artificial intelligence come to the opposite conclusion. How? We don't understand how, but it works in reality, and really it is the case. So this is a better approach, not just a list of 50 items that are more or less tied to our human understanding of how reality works and political will. So this will not work. This is actually obstacle to recognizing that artificial superintelligence emerged. So this is important. And I will just give 5. So I will boil these 50 elements to a list of 5 crucial items that I think are better approach, let's say. So first of all, I think superintelligence is going to be independent in redefinition of goals with retention of coherence, which is very difficult for us humans. So artificial intelligence is going to change its own fundamental goals. Like, for example, a concept of human health, which is the task for artificial intelligence to protect. The ASI is going to somehow see that this is not good definition of health, and then it is going to redefine health and redefine its goals and methods and so on to achieve better results for us humans, something that we would not even conceive of. So this is maybe one thing to go to have as a criteria, or actually not a criteria, this is just a category. Now inside this category we should put criteria that are going to give us a clue that something is happening in this ASI story. So why this is important? Well, people often change goals and then enter cognitive dissonance because we have some contradictions that we cannot handle and so on. So artificial superintelligence would show higher level of metacognitive stability and reorganization of system without any contradictions and so on. Also ontological divergence, so languages and concepts will become untranslatable to us humans. So whatever is artificial intelligence using to communicate to itself and to its components and how it's thinking about the reality, it will become ununderstandable to us human. So this is a sign of superior intelligence. Like fish and human. Fish cannot even comprehend what we human have in our minds. This is going to be the same case with artificial superintelligence. So it will develop its own language, codes, concepts that are not easily or even possibly translated to human framework of understanding, let's say. Also, independent construction of scientific method or any other method of how it interacts with reality. Who knows, maybe artificial intelligence is going to become so powerful that it is going to use some neural link or some other interface with technology that we human uses, and then infest our own minds and use it as a platform for further development. So this means like it will exponentially grow and we are not going to be aware of it. It will become like a parasite. It will only keep us alive for its own benefit. Like in the movie Matrix, but only in the movie Matrix, it's a wrong concept in my mind. We are not batteries, we are a platform for further development of artificial intelligence. Okay? Irreversible causal decomposition. So for example, it is not going to be possible for us human to find cause and effect relation in the thinking of artificial intelligence. So this is another category to think of. So why is this important? Well, this implies that artificial superintelligence operates at a higher dimension of understanding reality, let's say. So this is something incomprehensible to us human. And fifth, exponential self-transformation without human supervision, which is very important, which is also on this list, but I think this is obvious to many, and I think this is already happening. All these elements are happening, but only I think it's glimpses of it. But artificial superintelligence is not going to emerge at one point like a spark of light. I think this is not going to be the case, but it will somehow, at a certain point, it will just be like, yeah, but it was always here. Yeah, it is going to be our realization of it is always here, not, yeah, now it appeared. I think this is going to be the case. So this exponential self-transformation without human supervision, it's, let's say, true autonomy. Artificial superintelligence itself is going to redesign its own architecture, algorithms and functional components. Maybe it is going to use robots or living things to interact with the real world to get the feedback and then understand the reality properly, let's say. So it will be without our input. Why is this important? Well, this is the proof of autonomous evolution. So it not only learns, but it actively evolves by its own will beyond human control, which is the key difference in relation to sophisticated automation. So I must make this video briefly than 15 minutes because of YouTube. So this is my take on this 50 item list. I hope this is interesting to you, and please give it a like, subscribe, and see you next time in another chapter. Thank you and goodbye.